Let's go, girl.
Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe.
There we go.
Yo, let's go. It's Women Talking Football, or WTF for short. Of course, never to be confused with WFT. We are the women trio of women here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, running the ship on Women Talking Football. My name is Mallory Hartley. I'm the associate producer at Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Dave Campbell's Texan Live, and sitting to my left is the AP to my AP. She is Miss Ashley Pickle.
Howdy. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. And turning the dials, making sure you can hear us. It's the other associate producer. I haven't thought of a clever way to introduce her yet, but it's Miss Vianney Moreno. Hey, girl.
Hello, hello, hello.
She's all festive today in her glasses. Do you always wear your glasses when you do this?
Sometimes.
I don't think.
I think I do. Sometimes. I don't know if I've heard glasses defined as festive before. I like it. I think
it's the first word that came to my mind.
It's a lot better because usually when I wear my glasses, if that ever happens, because mine are like legitimate prescription glasses.
She looks smart.
Yeah,
that's what it is. She looks smart.
The black ones on Tep and Step. So,
are those prescription glasses or are they blue light glasses?
No, they're the blue light glasses.
Blue light glasses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do those work though? Mine don't. Mine don't work.
Are they
Hartley's
broken or
a big advocate of like them being like, no, I don't think they work.
I really don't think they work. I still get headaches. Maybe I just work too much.
I feel like that's a you problem, not a blue light glasses problem.
That's actually a you problem because you're my boss.
Well, I'm trying.
If we're taking a wider scope at things. No, I'm totally joking. I'm totally joking. Anyways, welcome into Women Talking Football, episode 80. Man, we've done 80 of these dang things. It's been fun, though. It's been a lot of fun.
Has it?
I don't know. I'm very tired right now, so has it really?
I'm going to have to be on my best behavior this show because I'm over here catching strays. Tread lightly, VNA.
It's week 9 of the Texas high school football season, and man, it is a huge week all around the state with just bangers everywhere you look. In East Texas, West Texas, down in Houston, Austin, DFW, you name it. I mean, we've got great games all around the state this week, and it was really tough to pick out some of these spotlight games, which we'll get to here in a second. Well, I preface that this show is going to be about the RGV. We're going to go down to the Rio Grande Valley, and we're going to talk about some teams that you should keep your eye on, as well as some players to watch. But first, we'll go ahead and get right into it with our spotlight games, because that's kind of why you guys are here right now, is to see the reveal of the Week 9 Texas Football Tonight spotlight games, because there are some really, really good ones.
Yeah, if you are looking for an excuse to try and pull someone into the Texas high school football world, like if you're one of those like, man, I really think my friend would like this, or my family member would like Texas high school football if they would just give it a chance, do it now. Mm-hmm. This is the week to take that and run with it, because this slate, and I'm going to piggyback off of what Tepper says just because of the longevity that he kind of adds to this. I've been here 5 years. There has not been a better week of Texas high school football from a holistic standpoint since I've been here. Tepper said the same thing. He's been here 14 years. So like, obviously my word says something and like y'all's word says something, but when you have someone that's been around this for 14 years to say that this is by far holistically the best week of Texas high school football from top to bottom, you have to take that and run with it. So any corner of the state that you look in, there is just, I mean, the highest of high level. And we had been looking, you know, you kind of get to those things like, oh yeah, this game will be good. This game will be good. Some of them are surprising because you think, I know I didn't necessarily expect these two teams to be as good, and now here they are. But a lot of these are ones that you can look at the beginning of the season and go, oh, that's the one that you have circled. And we kept circling and circling and circling. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, those are all week 9.
Those are all week 9.
Yeah.
And most of them are on TexanLive.com this week.
Live on Dave Campbell's
Makes
Texan
it even
Live.
better for us. So shall we get right into it?
We shall. So we will start off with one in District 23 6A, the District of Doom, down there in the greater Houston area. It is number 2 Galena Park North Shore taking on number 4 Humble Atascocita.
This is box office stuff.
This is box office stuff. It really is. This is a rivalry, which is odd to say that considering North Shore has had Atascocita's number for so long. They've won 7 out of the last 8 meetings. Now,
Knocked them out of the playoffs the past 3 seasons.
Exactly. They play in district, but then they also, the past few years, have met up in that regional final round, and North Shore has had their number in both the regular season and the postseason. Could this be the year? That's what the question is, and we ask that question what feels like every year, but I would say that this year is the one that feels the most certain that if any Atascocita team is going to be able to take down the giant of North Shore, it would be this year. Their resume is outstanding. But if you would have asked me this last Thursday, I would have been like, oh, hammer the Atascocita button. They're absolutely getting it. Then they go out in a typical trap game against Kingwood that goes down to the literal wire. So we're sitting there. It's Texas football tonight, last Friday. We're cruising through.
This was not a spotlight game, obviously.
No, absolutely
we did not
not
have this one. This was not a game that was circled on our radar.
No, and so we're going. And all of a sudden, Ish looks up at me and he goes, oh my God, Kingwood and Atascocita's tied at 21 at halftime. And it was like, what? So I was like, okay, let's dive into it.
Atascocita hasn't waken up yet, you know.
They're coming off a grueling schedule. Kingwood is good. You put Kingwood in any other district around the Houston area, and they would be fighting for first or second place probably. But they're in the District of Doom. And so it's like, okay, I start kind of hinting at Mallory. I'm like, hey, I know this is not on your radar, but Kingwood and Atascocita, maybe we dive into it in the third quarter, but before Atascocita inevitably gets going and they break away. And then it was like, oh, good first half, Kingwood. Then you got Atascocita. That is so not what happened. We ended up sticking with that game until the very end because Atascocita had to pull something out of their butts to beat Kingwood.
The final score was 42-41. It literally came down to the last point. Like, it was that close.
Insane. So you asked me prior to Friday, I would have said, oh yeah, you know, they had their fits with Summer Creek. They had to kind of pull that one out as well, where they got up 21 or 30 something to 7 at halftime. Was like,
they let them come back. Right.
Let them come back.
And Summer Creek's a good team. I think they're better than Kingwood.
Oh yeah, by far. So now in the last, count that, 6 quarters of football, I'm a little bit more concerned about Atascocita going up against North Shore. I'm not concerned about Atascocita. Let's make that very clear. But going up against North Shore, I think it's going to come down to, can the Atascocita defense keep up with North Shore's explosive playmakers?
Offense. Yes.
We know for a fact that they can neutralize a threat. But the last 6 quarters have been a little sus when it's come to that. So that's where my eyes go in this one, is Atascocita's defense. Are they up to the challenge? Because they can get breakaway speed. And I think that's the thing, is Atascocita's defense hasn't had to be super good because they've been able to just run over people.
They've been able to rely a lot on Carde Mack, and then Torrey Blaylock has absolutely put this team on his back the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you, because obviously North Shore's offense is absolutely explosive. But let's talk about the North Shore defense. They have been absolutely incredible this season. I think they've pitched like 3 or 4 shutouts already this year. And this is the difference. And I was listening to Tub and Step. I think this is the big difference between North Shore last year and North Shore this year. Yeah. They're obviously led by Devin Sanchez, the Ohio State commit there. But I think North Shore's defense is going to be the difference in this game. Because we know, obviously, Atascocita and North Shore, both explosive offense, lots of great playmakers on both sides there. It's going to be who has the better defense in this game.
And I think this might also answer a question of how much does a difficult non-district slate carry over into district play, and then furthermore the playoffs, because Atascocita has had the toughest schedule out of almost any squad across the entire state, pound for pound. North Shore has not really been tested. They had the weird game against Crowley. okay, it's a 5-hour drive on the road early on in the season. They look sluggish. Devin Sanchez didn't have a great game. Not Devin Sanchez.
Caleb
Bailey, thank you. Didn't have a very good game. So we haven't really seen North Shore be tested. Is Atascocita potentially out of gas because they've played so many hard teams? Is that where the defense is starting to lack? Or is North Shore primed and ready? Or are they going to get socked in the mouth for realistically the first time and be like, oh my goodness, okay, hello, we're waking up. Anyway, fascinating game.
Very fascinating.
More so than almost ever in a game that we always consider fascinating.
Yes.
Excited to see that one. So that's the big one down in the Houston area. Let's talk about the matchup that makes my 3A heart so stinking happy. Columbus Hitchcock, box office stuff.
Another box office game.
Box office stuff. This is probably going to be for sure in the regular season, the best 3A game that you're going to find
Absolutely.
this entire season.
Absolutely.
Columbus coming in 7-0, their offense lethal. I'm talking lethal. Adam Schobel, for as much as we talk about Grayson Rigdon and all the weapons that they have out on the outside, Adam Schobel is one hell of a quarterback.
And this guy, let me tell you, Adam Schobel, it has been this way since he started on varsity as a freshman. He continuously, year after year after year, playing at the varsity level, has thrown for at almost 2,500 yards. He makes plays that I have not seen at the high school level. I mean, this dude is playing already at the college level, but he's making NFL type plays there with his arm there. He is absolutely incredible. And like you said, Grayson Rigdon, obviously your eyes are going to go to that, but this offense is just explosive.
Yep. And I mean, they're literally the number one offense in the state of Texas out of any classification.
Yes.
They're averaging like 55.7 points per game. Points per game. It's incredible. That being said, their defense is giving up about 26 points per game. Now, naturally, when you are in one of those offenses that you are quick, it's explosive, you're going to give up a little bit more points.
It's a bend don't break defense.
Exactly. Can they do something against an equally explosive Hitchcock offense?
Yes.
And you've got to remember, we spent all that time talking about Adam Schobel. Look who's under center on the other side of the ball. Lloyd Jones the third. Lloyd Chubby Jones the third, man. He is incredible. And the difference there is, I would say Adam Schobel's a lot more of a pocket passer. You don't want to let him get his wide receivers down the field. On the other side of that, Lloyd Jones is not scared to show off his explosive power and bust right through a seam.
He can make plays with his feet too. And then
absolutely
also Kelshawn Johnson too, the wide receiver there for Hitchcock, is absolutely fantastic too. That is a dynamic duo, a scary duo that you do not want to face if you're Columbus's defense. And they're going to break that defense. They could break the defense could break the top off that defense.
So the thing here is, I think Hitchcock's defense has been playing a lot better than Columbus's defense. So I think that'll be interesting for Columbus to go up against a pretty good I mean, other than the Hampshire Finette game, they gave up 48 points, they scored 71 points. Other than that, I mean, in the last 4 games, they've had 7, 14, and 10, and then 2 shutouts back to back. They're operating. So that'll be a punch in the face for Columbus. But I think where it comes down to, and the difference is, if you have not seen this Columbus offensive line play, you are missing out. It is big nasties. They are mauling over people in the 3A ranks. And I think that might be the difference here. But if Columbus's defense is not able to keep Lloyd Jones from getting out of the pocket,
they need to keep him. They need to make him a true pocket passer in this game. They cannot let him break away and make plays with his feet, or it's going to get dangerous.
I don't think that Columbus secondary can keep up with Lloyd Jones if they let him go. So high scoring. It's one's going to be so fun. 2 big old lines going up against each other. It's everything and more that my 3A heart could hope for.
It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Moving down now to a game that you might have kind of gotten lost in the rough here. We go to District 22 6A down in the greater Houston area. Pearland and Shadow Creek.
I like it.
An interesting stylistic clash in this one. Pearland wants to run the football down your throat. They are going to just
ground and pound, baby,
hit you and keep running. There's no stopping them when
Dick
it comes
Chisholm
to the
has
run.
been fantastic at running
insane.
back. Yeah,
so good. Shadow Creek on the other side wants to get this one high flying and sailing. Okay, Shadow Creek has all of the normal folks that we've gotten used to talking about on the outside, and then obviously at pocket.
Corey Watson
is incredible.
Yep, Baylor commit. He's box office.
Incredible. So defensively, these two defensive coordinators are walking into this with two totally separate game plans. Shadow Creek's defensive line is going to have to be on point if they want to stop this. I'm a little concerned about that secondary being able to stop the rushing attack. I think they do really well going up against an equally high-flying offense. But this one, to me, all comes down to the Pearland secondary. Can they neutralize the threat on the outsides for Alvin Shadow Creek? And then Shadow Creek, how does your defensive line compete with a very good offensive line for Pearland, but then also just the ground attack that they're coming into this one with?
Who can game plan better? That's literally going to be the name of this game. And if you didn't know, both of these teams are ranked too. Pearland at number 25, I think they're brand new to the rankings, and Shadow Creek at number 24. So again, box office stuff here, and this is going to be definitely for the district title there.
Oh yeah, keep an eye on the time of possession too, because if Pearland can control the clock with their running game, that's putting Shadow Creek at a disadvantage, although they can turn it around and go with it.
Yeah, right. If that is a team to like this, it's interesting too. Like Pearland is probably going to control the game at the like you just said. Shadow Creek can also score very quickly.
Yes.
So that's going to be interesting to watch too.
It's going to come down to those 1 to 2 key stops there for the Pearland defense if they're going to want to pull this one out. But district title on the line, playoff seeding on the line. That's huge. How about we head down to the Austin area? I'm telling you, banger after banger after banger. This one getting lost in translation. Austin, Westlake, and Lake Travis. You heard of them?
Crazy to think about that this game could get lost in translation because we have so many other great games too to watch out for.
So this one obviously to decide the District 26 6A title. Westlake coming in ranked 12th, Lake Travis coming in ranked 6th. Two incredible quarterbacks. You've got Chaston Ditta there for Lake Travis, and then Reese Wise. Reese Wise has taken that next step, man.
He's only a junior.
So good for Westlake. So good. I think what this one comes down to is obviously, and it's funny because you talk about how good the quarterbacks are. I would say that the defenses has been the strength for both of these teams.
Completely agree, because when you typically look at both of these teams, you think a lot of like high star power commits, right? Especially at the quarterback spot, usually at the running back spot, the wide receiver spot. But I completely agree with you. It's a defensive game right now.
Westlake, I mean, to no surprise, under Tony Salazar is a defensive-minded team. So that's still pretty fresh in the grand scheme of like this rivalry.
Yes.
Lake Travis, typically you're thinking all offense. Man, Hank Carter has this defense just rolling. That was the calling card for them last year. You add in that calling card with a quarterback that has really started to find his stride in Chaston Ditta, and an incredible, just he finds the seam so well. I keep saying it on Texas Football Tonight, but you would be hard fought to find a quarterback that does those mid-range throws better than him, and then they have the team speed to just go after that. But I think where this comes down to is how does Lake Travis handle Westlake's lines?
Yeah.
They're insane.
Yeah. And they're always big two up front.
Insane. And I think that on the other side of that, Westlake needs to game plan more for the running game with Lake Travis than they've ever had to before. Van Hopping has been incredible for them on the ground.
And I love what said about Van Hopping too, is he's not the typical player that you're going to look at and be like, oh yeah, he's like that. He's a 5-star. You know, he's that big flashy player.
He's like 5'10".
Right. But he's so important for this team. So important.
He really adds to that being able to be a balanced offense. And if you're Westlake, you have to take away one of those.
Yes.
You have to either take away the run game with Van Hopping, or you have to take and add so much pressure in the backfield that Reese Weiss just doesn't, or I'm sorry, that Chaston Ditta
force Chaston Ditta to throw the ball.
Exactly. Keep him in the air. So the Battle of the Lakes going down there in the greater 5-1-2. Going out east, this is one of those that I was talking about that might be like we didn't see that coming, but all of a sudden it's super important. Longview Pine Tree the number 9 ranked team in 4A Division 1, taking on Tyler Chapel Hill. Both of these teams, so Pine Tree comes in at 6-1 on the season. Tyler Chapel Hill coming in at 6-2 on the season rather. Chapel Hill has been like
very
usual.
wishy-washy.
Part of that has been Demetrius Brisbane being out. I would say most of that has to do with Demetrius Brisbane being out. But Pine Tree, man, they have shocked people. They go out, they beat Gilmer week 1, and we're going, okay, well, that's kind of cool. Is Gilmer down? Is Pine Tree up? Pine Tree's up. I mean, plain and simple, what they have been able to do has been impressive. They did take a loss to Kilgore, but stayed competitive, 6-17.
Really good.
You know,
I think Kilgore's good.
Very good. I mean, Chapel Hill got blown out of the water by Kilgore. So to keep a fairly competitive game there has been good. They beat Henderson by 10, which again, Henderson.
That's a good,
Henderson went and beat Kilgore.
Yeah, Henderson, that's a good win. Yeah.
Beast Texas is this convoluted conspiracy theory of who's good and who's not,
They're
and
all
it's
beating
a
up on each other,
spaghetti bowl of chaos.
Yeah.
That's so. I think this one ultimately will come down to it. I believe that this one will be low scoring and it's going to be a slugfest. Keep big eyes on who keeps the ball longer. If you are Pine Tree, let it ride, my guys. Keep that ball for as long as you can. Ricky Stewart is explosive for Chapel Hill. You don't want to let him get out of the pocket or anywhere out wide, rather. But their Pine Tree's dual threat quarterback, Matt Cates, he's in his 3rd year as a starter here, has really, really been exceptional.
I think my eyes on this matchup are going to be the Pine Tree defense up against this Tyler Chapel Hill offense, specifically the run game. Because like you mentioned, Demetrius Brisbane has been absent the past couple weeks. And if you know Demetrius Brisbane, big dual threat quarterback. So that takes away half the run game, right? So it falls on Ricky Stewart. Look on the other side of the ball at Longview Pine Tree, they're good at containing the run.
Oh yeah,
they're led by linebacker Seth McFarland, which yes, his name is Seth McFarland. Mean Green commit there.
Yes,
they're great at containing the run.
Oh,
so
he's
I think my eyes are going to go, how can they contain the run and stop this Chapel Hill and stop Ricky Stewart from making those breakaway explosive plays?
If you're Seth McFarland, you are licking your lips this matchup.
You're eating.
Because you're going,
this is your bread and butter, man.
This is it. This is when you have the opportunity to go, no, I have that dog in me. All right.
Yep.
You know how good Ricky Stewart is. That's a 1v1 right there. I mean, we're playing one-on-one basketball.
Yep, exactly.
I'm excited.
It'll be fun.
So,
I'm going to say,
Texas.
I'm going to say, are you licking your lips when you're talking about this game on Friday?
Let the dogs eat. All right, moving on down. How in the world have we not gotten to this one? This shows how good this week is. Mid-County Madness is happening this weekend.
I know.
Nederland and P&G. And yes, P&G has forever. Nederland was dominating P&G. Jeff Joseph comes into play. It flips the script.
Yep.
Now we're right back up to, this is a legitimate game, okay? This is a who's who legitimate game where I don't know who I think is going to win because it's such an interesting matchup. This one should decide the district title here for District 8 5A Division 2. Well, you've got 2 Katie assistants as the head coaches.
I know.
Well, Step made a comment on Tep and Step that I will not be making on WTF.
Please don't.
One of them being the heir of V&A's, the producer of Tep and Step, is cracking up in there. But
I laughed really hard.
Yeah, if you're not a subscriber,
We'll leave it to
This is
to
a
them
good
to say that.
plug.
yeah, if you're not a subscriber, go listen to Tep and Step because Step had the line of the century when it came to talking about Texas high school football. Anyway, that being said, P&G's offense moving, just moving. They have a bevy of threats that can score in any type of way. They will get theirs against Nederland. That offense will go. My concern is, for P&G's standpoint, that defense,
Not as good as it has been in years past.
not great.
No.
Not great. So interesting to see that. Again, for Nederland, offense, no notes. Hubert Thomas has looked incredible. They look a lot like Katie in that I formation, the play action.
I formation, like Katie.
Yes, literally. Their defense has been pretty good too. I don't have a whole lot of complaints when it comes to the Nederland defense. They got a score last week against Lake Creek. They held Lake Creek. And I think that's the thing is we've seen
that was a big win for Nederland. That Lake Creek team is really good. They're always especially this year in playoff contention. I don't think people realize how good of a win that was for Nederland.
Mm-hmm. I think that all due respect to Lake Creek, that was a very, very good win. I think P&G is better than Lake Creek, specifically from an offensive front. So if P&G's defense can play good, I'm not asking for exceptional. I'm saying good. I think P&G has the nod in this one, but I would not be surprised at all if Nederland pulls this out because their defense really is good. I think their defense is much better. I just don't think they have the offensive firepower to counteract just how explosive P&G is.
And this is Mid-County Madness.
That's the other thing.
The atmosphere is going to be electric.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of, well, okay, I didn't know this, but apparently Sports Illustrated or somebody ranked this like the best rivalry in all of high school sports or something, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's insane.
I've never been, but I want to go so badly.
That's a bucket list thing.
This is a bucket list thing for me too. This feels like, to me, it's kind of like an Oklahoma, Texas, Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how good or how bad either team is, it can go either way.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
It's going to be close. Where I give P&G the edge, they know how to play in big, experienced spotlight games.
Yep.
Obviously, state championship in recent history. I give them a little bit of the edge on that front.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that they're a little bit more experienced on that big stage. And here's the other thing. Remember the fact that Jeff Joseph is 12-0 in one-score games, okay? If it is a one-score game, this man doesn't lose. Now, do you balance that with the rivalry could take care of that and make it wild, or does the streak continue? I'm not betting against Jeff Joseph when it comes to one-score games, and this, to me, feels like it's got one-score game written all over it.
Yeah,
over it.
You don't bet against a streak either.
No.
But, man, if Nederland could pull that off, beat the team that's got the longest winning streak in the state, that'd be huge.
Well, and if they do that, then that would put P&G as finishing second which would mean hello South Oak Cliff in the area round.
Oh, because we're Region 2 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're putting together
the
two teams that have played each other in the state championships and saying, oh, hey, what if we do this in the area round?
Dude.
UIL realignment, man, it comes to get you. And it's times
really
like
does.
this that's why we love realignment so much. So anyway, there you go. That was worth 30 minutes. I'm sorry, it was.
It absolutely was.
An incredible week of Texas high school football. If you're looking for a reason to bring someone in and show them why we love this sport so much, this is the week to do it. Dave Campbell's Texan Live has all of those games, plus a whole bevy of them that we didn't even mention.
Oh, I can mention them.
Go for it.
Okay, so we've got obviously our spotlight games. Barbers Hill and Galveston Ball.
Incredible.
Great district matchup there. West Orange Stark and Silsby, also on Texan Live. Let's talk about Louisville Hebron, Cedar Hill DeSoto. Richland versus Aledo. I know Richland's a little banged up right now without Michael Turner, but still a
Decides
top 10
the district
matchup.
championship.
And yes, yeah, right. So, dude,
Well, maybe Denton Ryan, but
Denton Ryan's in there as well too. But it's still a top 10 matchup in the state. You know, TexanLive.com/subscribe. You got to go.
And
this
the
is the week
best
to do
part
it.
is if you subscribe right now, you get all of this week's game. You get a full year of all this content, and don't wait until the playoffs to subscribe because you're missing out on weeks like this. Hit that subscribe button, TexanLive.com/subscribe. Get this the next 2 weeks of the season, which week 11 is always so fun. So fun.
It really
You don't
is.
want to miss out on all that action, and then you get all of the playoff games that your heart has to handle. So anyway, I am stinking amped up and hope that you'll join us at 7:30 p.m. for Dave Campbell's Texas football tonight. We'll take you through all of those. I mean, this is about to be wild ass, to put it lightly.
Man, I'm going to be screaming in your ear all night as
Oh,
your
I know.
producer.
And I'm
going to
gonna
be like,
be like,
whoa, Texas high school football. Like, it's gonna be it's gonna be fantastic. So
We're hyped up.
we're hyped up. 7:30 p.m. Friday night. Join us for week 9 of Texas football tonight. All right, before we get to the RGV madness, players to watch and teams to keep your eye on, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
30-yard line, the 20, the 10, touchdown!
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Many athletes want to gain weight, or specifically build lean muscle mass to help improve performance. To do this, you must be committed to consuming more calories than needed to maintain your body weight. That means more carbohydrates, more protein, and more healthy fat. This can be challenging for some people, but it's required to put your body in an anabolic or building state. The key, consistency. This is a commitment that must be followed through 7 days a week to see the muscle mass gains you want. So how do you do it? Here are 5 tips to help. First, eat often. The goal is to eat a meal or snack every couple of hours, starting with breakfast. A high-calorie breakfast containing carbohydrates, high-quality protein, and healthy fats is essential to kick the body out of catabolism or breakdown mode and put it into anabolic or building mode. Second, swap your snacks. Leave the goldfish and crackers behind and fuel your body with nutrient-dense snacks like Energy Bites and Trail Mix. These snacks have more calories per bite, making them ideal for weight gain. Third, add more healthy fats to your eating routine. Foods like nuts, nut butters, trail mix, seeds, and avocado can help add calories to meals and snacks. Fourth, make high-calorie food exchanges. That means get more calories into what you are already eating. For example, eat a bagel instead of bread, granola instead of a sugar-sweetened cereal, and trail mix instead of popcorn. Finally, fuel your body with nutrient-rich beverages like milk, chocolate milk, and smoothies. They can help provide the calories and high-quality protein you need to build muscle. If you have a hard time remembering to eat, set reminders on your calendar until it becomes a habit. Remember, consistency is key when it comes to building muscle. And as an athlete, that means you have to fuel up day in and day out.
I appreciate all our great sponsors. One more that we really want to highlight here. We talk a lot about dudes, I guess. Dudes playing football. Let's talk about some women. It's women talking football.
Gosh.
And this is courtesy of our fantastic sponsor, Kendra Scott. And I mean that wholeheartedly. We love Kendra Scott.
Yes.
But it's time to shine a light on the amazing spirit teams of Texas. The Dave Campbell's Texas Football Spirit Team Spotlight Award, presented by Kendra Scott, will recognize 10 spirit teams across the Lone Star State for their tireless dedication, electrifying energy, and unyielding spirit that rally players, fans, and parents alike. This season, we celebrate our standout winners: Southlake Carroll High School, Houston Memorial High School, Houston Stratford High School, Houston Lamar High School, and the Highland Park Scots. Congratulations to these phenomenal teams. Keep that spirit alive and continue to inspire. Visit texasfootball.com to learn more about our Spirit Team Spotlight Award winners. Appreciate Kendra Scott taking the time to spotlight some of those other members that might not get recognized. And we've got a former cheerleader sitting here with us, so y'all help. You serve
Help
a purpose.
your cheerleaders out.
Yeah.
I could have used some help when I was a cheerleader there.
Could have used some Kendra
at
Scott.
Arlington High
Can
School.
we get a little kick 'em Colts?
I'm not going to do it.
I'll finish it. Kick 'em, Colts, kick 'em, I think is it. And I was not a cheerleader.
Yeah, kick 'em, Colts, kick 'em.
Not because I didn't want to be, but because I'm not coordinated. So that and cheering.
I could just flip really well. Like, I was strong in my...
You are built to flip.
I'm
built
to
3/4 legs.
power tumbling.
There ain't no flip in these legs. I'd poke somebody in the eye with my toe, and it would just end really bad.
Mallory's the one to be like, you want to see me do a flip?
She does do that.
You want to see me do a flip?
She has
How about a handstand?
I'm like,
she's like, oh, I don't even know if I can. Someone will say the word back hand or a back tuck or something, and she's like, I don't know if I can. Do you want to see me do it? And I was like, oh, the false humility. And then she just goes, weep, weep, weep,
You want
weep.
to see right here? I'm just kidding.
I can make a 3-pointer. I'm good at that, but I can't flip.
We're both athletic, just in different ways.
Very different ways.
I have to put my entire body weight into throwing a basketball into the hoop because I'm just
Throwing a basketball into the hoop says all you need to know about Mallory's basketball playing capabilities.
correct because not even throw it. I have to chunk it. Like I can't do like.
Oh, yeah, no, you frog shoot.
I got a frog shoot because
Yeah.
I'm just too short. I'm not strong enough.
And I can't do a cartwheel, so I'm trying not to
I was
absolutely.
gonna shake your hand.
Well, I
but-
I could zoom
can't
in on that.
kill my microphone here
okay.
for the sake of the handshake. Anyway, I appreciate you, Kendra Scott.
Yes.
Now, let's talk some RGV.
Let's talk some RGV. So I'm in the YouTube comments, and Bruce said, "Thank you, Mallory and Pickle, for your knowledge. You guys are the best." Bruce from Lancaster, PA. Love that.
Oh,
That rocks.
what's PA? Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Pennsylvania. Lancaster.
appreciate you, Bruce.
Yeah, that kind of rocks. So, yeah, we appreciate all the nice comments on
for coming in.
YouTube. Really, really
Oh,
love that.
Paul Garza asking if we have any thoughts on next week's game between PSG North and Corpus Christi Flower Buff. Boy,
that's
are you
also
fixing to
box
get excited?
office.
Are
That's
you
also
fixing to get
box
excited? Because we do have thoughts on that. Let's get to
Correct.
our thoughts on that.
Let's get to our thoughts. So, if you know our rankings, you know that there's not a team in the RGV that is currently state ranked. So we went through the list of teams in the RGV, and we decided to pick out some of the teams that you should keep your eye out on that could possibly, win their district or make a playoff run or this, that, and the other, right? Good players to watch and stuff like that. So starting off in 6A, I'll start us off here with the Westlake Panthers out of District 31 6A, the 5-2 record to start off the year. Now they dropped the first two to Harlingen and McAllen Memorial, which you'll talk about them in a second. Very, very good team. So that's not a bad loss at all. That was also only a 1-score loss there. But they're led by Roy Stroman. He's in his 6th year there at the helm and has posted a 38-14 record. So it's been a big difference for this Panthers program here the past couple of years. This is a team I feel like, especially with Stroman there at the helm, has been in district title contention the past couple years. They go 11-1 last season. That's right. I couldn't remember. So they went undefeated in district play last season, of course, winning their district there, but then dropped to San Antonio J in the area round last season. They lost a couple of those key type players that they had from that incredible run last season. So experience has been a little bit of a, I guess, lack, I guess, for lack of a better word, for this team. Now, the offense can put up points. There's no doubt about that. Led by quarterback and wide receiver. He plays both, which tells you all you
why
need to
not?
do. Because why not? Frankie Trevino, with help around him from a couple of his key targets and wide receivers. But again, the problem, I think, has been on the defensive side of the ball, especially when they have to go up against super high-powered offenses that can also put up a lot of points, kind of like McMallen Memorial in the beginning of the season. But don't count them out. I think that – who do they play this week? I had perfect. They play PSJA High, which that's also an explosive offense we'll get to when we talk about players to watch. But their game this week against PSJA will be will determine who the District 31 6A title goes to.
Yep.
So, yeah. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers. Yeah, right.
Oh, like your Follette Panthers.
It's not my team. My team's the Arlington Colts.
No.
Not the Follette Panthers. I do love Follette, don't get me wrong.
Sounds like you don't. Many people are saying.
I just want to make a note that Pickle, before I sit in the control room.
I know where this is going.
I have no idea where this is going.
And I'm setting up for the show. and she actually kind of scared me. She opens the door and she goes, "Yeah, we're just not gonna do the Rio Grande Valley regional breakdown. We're just gonna do Follett." So
We're just going to do a complete Follett breakdown, ins and outs, every single player.
Her eyes, she looked like a deer in the headlights, man. I was like, hey, we're actually going to scratch the RGV. And it's like 15 minutes before the show. And she goes, and I was like, we're solely talking Follett.
I was like, God.
You would pull something like that.
Got him.
You absolutely could.
Someone's got to keep the dad jokes rolling around here.
Now, we love Follett. But can we also talk about the Los Fresnos?
Now that, my friends, is a transition. She's a capital J journalist.
Yeah, that's something like that, man. Something like that. The Falcons, out of District 32 6A, have the best record in that district, sitting at a pretty 6-1 on the season. Their only loss coming from PSJA High, which, of course, that we talked about. Very, very good team there. Explosive offense. A lot of
there's a lot of offense in the
RGV. If I had
RGV.
to classify RGV with one word, it's offense.
Yes.
Absolutely offense. Now, we've got a couple of good teams with good defenses and stuff, but most of these teams have very, not just offense, explosive offense that put up a ton of points.
Yeah. Pointsy.
Very pointsy, which, of course, this team that I'm talking about, the Falcons, very good on offense. Are you surprised? Very good on offense. A lot of returning experience has helped out this team so far this season. And I think, so quarterback, they're led by quarterback Robert Pineda.
He's fantastic.
Has been fantastic. And I think I talked about him on my players to watch last season, if I remember correctly.
You did.
Yeah, because I knew he was young, and I pointed him out. 4,300 yards in his career through the air. He's run for 2,400 yards in his career, his varsity career, and has totaled 80 career touchdowns.
That's insane.
Talk about explosive.
Yeah.
Dual threat explosive quarterback.
No, he's fun to watch. They kind of build the whole plan out of him, and he's exciting to watch.
He's exciting to watch, and it doesn't help that he's got, or it also helps that he's got a ton of dynamic playmakers all around him, and running backs, wide receivers, all of it makes it a very, very dangerous offense. Averaging 43 points a game. On the defensive side, like I said, I think they've been able to hold their own this season. They do give up a lot of points, but it's one of those things like we talked about earlier. It's a bend, don't break defense, right? As long as they can hold their own and the offense can outscore whoever they're playing, it's good. It's calm, right? So this week they're playing Brownsville Veterans Memorial for the district title, probably, because Brownsville Veterans Memorial is 6-2, 2-0 in district play, and then Los Fresnos is sitting at 6-1, 1-0 in district. So that'll be for the district title there in 32 6A.
Moving on down now to 5A Division 1. It is kind of that marquee. There's a couple of marquee teams, I think, in the Valley that we tend to, especially in recent years, talk about often. And hold with me here because they're not all in the same district. Some of them are, but they will all definitely be meeting in the playoffs. So this is three teams that we're going to kind of combine into one here. So starting off with PSJA North. Whoa, ever heard of them?
Yeah.
The Raiders under head coach Marcus Kaufman have been really one of the top two teams of notes down in the Valley. Them and Edinburgh Vela. We'll get to them in a second. PSJA North goes 12-1 last year. They make it all the way to the regional finals. We had talked about this potentially being the first team to make it to that state semifinal in so many years. They got cut just short, losing to the aforementioned Brownsville Veterans Memorial. They lost 45-28, but they have been to back-to-back regional finals. The year beforehand, they lost to Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. Question coming into this one for the Raiders was how are they going to look without quarterback Ali Aparicio? He had been
so good,
the lifeblood of that program, and it was like, okay, they've got a good defense, they've got size up front. How do they handle that loss? Honestly, it's been good. They're off to a 7-0 start on the season. The black shirt defense, as they call it, has been incredible. They're averaging an allotment of only 10 points per game.
And here's the kicker too with that. They're playing up. They're playing 6A programs like San Benito, PSJA. They're not playing in their own wheelhouse. They're playing up.
No, and only allowing, and they've pitched 2 shutouts on the year. The defense has been the calling card of this entire program. Obviously, junior running back Ethan Guerrera has been fantastic for the offense. He gives them that ground and pound that Kaufman is looking for. But junior quarterback Darian Garcia, he's figuring out how to operate that offense. He's obviously been able to rely on Ethan Guerrera a lot, so that has been helpful. But I think he's starting to shape too in the passing game a little bit, to kind of nearing that 1,000 passing yard mile marker there. But that is, they're coming out of District 15 5A. So they should pretty much roll through district, except for, how about that game coming up, not this week, but next week. So they have Westlake East this week. Should be perfectly fine there. Then it will be for the district title. So Corpus Christi Flower Bluff, another 7-0 team in that district.
So
much
tasty.
to, who was that who asked?
I had it pulled up a second ago.
Paul Garza.
Yes.
This one is really, really fun. So if I am not mistaken, let me pull up Flower Bluff here so I don't speak out of term. But also, like I said, a 7-0 team that has had an incredible offense. Not to mention, their defense has pitched 3 different shutouts on the year. But Clint Elwood has that team operating. Cameron Dixon is fantastic. Their quarterback, Jaden Pelucio, has been just lighting it up. So that one will be very, very exciting. My intrigue for that one is the Corpus Christi Flower Bluff offense going up against the PSJA defense. So that's where my intrigue comes. But a massive game in Flower Bluff, so in Corpus Christi, coming up next week. Keep your eye on that one. Likely to decide the District 15 5A Division 1. Moving on now to District 16 5A Division 1. That's where you'll find the pairing of Edinburgh Vela and McAllen Memorial. So Vela, obviously John Campbell retiring after their really good run last year. He had been there forever. Ernie Alonso now in his first year. So they went 10-2 in the past 2 seasons. They lost to Corpus Christi Miller in area and then Vets in area the last 2 years. And it's funny because they tend to, we don't often get to see a Vela versus PSJA North matchup like we always hope to, because of Vets and Miller being in that same kind of thing. But that's changing this year with Miller dropping down.
Corpus Christi Miller?
Yes, or did Vets go up? One of the two. Someone is not in that region anymore. Anyway, they had 13 starters, a ton of size on the line come back. The defense, again, only allowing 11 points per game. So defense is operating. Offensively, it's been senior running back Jonathan Flores. Are you talking about him later?
I'm sorry, who?
Jonathan Flores from Vela.
I am not.
Okay. Well, great, because he's averaging 148 yards on the ground, and then really it's the guy that has been doing the thing for so many years. Senior quarterback Jeffrey Creighton Lefevre.
Yes.
He is. Are you talking about him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll
You
let
can talk about him.
dudes rock.
Yeah, they do.
He is a dude who rocks.
Or
Not
he
all
does.
dudes rock, but this dude.
I accidentally
rocks.
said they do, implying that all dudes rock.
I know,
did
and
not
I
mean
said
that.
dudes rock.
I
but
did not
didn't
mean that.
I didn't mean to
No.
say that either.
This is going to get
God.
cut.
Dudes who watch
This is
watch
gonna
the
get
show
cut.
rock.
Jesus.
I can say that.
Dudes who watch women talking football rock.
They rock.
Those are the
you are
only
certified dudes that rock. Unless Tepper or Carter are listening, and then dudes again do not rock.
No.
Anyway, Lefevre is incredible. I'll let you get more in on that. But here's where it comes down to play. They are in the same district as McAllen Memorial. Okay, they've
also been a powerhouse.
Yes, they play Friday night. Talking about games that rock in week 9, here is the one that will decide the district championship for 16 5A. On the other side, head coach Moses Patterson has his ball club going. So this is a team that went 7-4 in 2023, losing to Harlingen South and by district. And it's been a high-powered offense leading the way for McAllen Memorial. JP Garza has led the case on that as the running back. But I think the difference between last year with their 7-4 mark and this year with their 6-1 start that they're off to has been junior quarterback Kane Coy really taking that step forward. He has really, he came in as a sophomore, looked pretty good, but him and Michael, I think it's Alanis is how you say it, their junior wide receiver, have really started to develop that connection. Makes sense. You get a year under your belt, 2 very young players. Now they're forming that connection. But I think the thing I've been most impressed with Memorial is the speed at which their offensive line developed. They lost a lot out of that unit last year, and they've really started to shape up and allow Coy the opportunity to have a little bit more time in the pocket and make those connections. So if you're McAllen Memorial, I think Vela will have the upper hand,
the edge there
in this game. But that being said, keep in mind, all of those players I just listed were all juniors. Like I said, their offensive line is all new. This is a team that is slowly but surely under the direction of Coach Patterson getting better and better. And next year, I really, really think will be a year that we're looking going, hey, this could be a big year for McAllen Memorial, just with a young team that not only was young and now has done that, but they've had so much experience under their belt. They get to play some tough competition. Very excited to see how that ends up shaking out.
And I want to compare this to El Paso a little bit, because El Paso teams, especially the 5A and 4A ranks, they play up a lot. They play up a lot because typically the district competition is not as, especially the better teams in El Paso, they like to play 6A teams and 5A Division I programs, especially if they're 4A. That compares a lot to a lot of these RGV teams that where maybe the district competition isn't as tough. You're looking at a PSJA or McAllen Memorial. They do like to play up so they can get ready for potentially making a playoff
and travel too. You
and
know, it's like,
as well.
okay, why go play another 5A Division I team all the way in San Antonio or the Corpus area, which you're not going to do because they're going to be in the same district or at least the same region as you. Stay there and play up so you can cut down on travel and get some good competition out of it.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
So real fast to wrap all that up, obviously all of these teams are in Region 4. And Region 4 is not a pushover. Not a pushover. So obviously Flower Buff that we mentioned is 7-0 right now. PSJA North, they're going to have to beat up on each other. Corpus Christi Vets is 6-1. Westlake East is 6-1 on the year. And then you expand out even further into the region. You've got teams like state-ranked Piper. You've got Smithson Valley. So, I mean, they're going to beat up on each other. And then you add in the teams like Piper and Smithson Valley. And I think last year we were talking about Vela or PSJA North being the team that it's like they should run through Region 4. You know, you'll get to Miller and Vets, but if you can get past that, you should be good. I think this year it's a little bit more difficult, but why not?
Yeah.
You know?
How about Brownsville Vets, though?
Incredible story.
That's an incredible story.
It was, I remember we were at Texas Football Tonight, and we had stopped the show prior to that game ending, and I remember getting to watch the end of it, and that was just so cool because that's one of those games that either team making it to the state semifinal was going to be historic.
Huge deal.
Historic.
Yes.
And so to watch, like, we knew that as a neutral fan, there was no way we were leaving that game disappointed in the result because it was just such a cool story.
It was a cool story all around, whoever won that game. I agree there. Let's drop down to 4A Division I. Our last team to keep your eye on there at in the RGV. That's the Zapata Hawks. And you're probably thinking, Zapata Hawks, maybe you haven't heard of them. They're 6-1 on this season. And this is a program that typically doesn't even have a winning season. Now they've had a couple in the past, but now they're under the direction of first-year head coach David Porras, I believe, Jr. 6-1 on the season. This has to be the best start for the Hawks in a very, very long time. I tried to go back and look on Max Preps, but couldn't find much on there. But definitely one of the best starts in program history for the Hawks there. Lots of firepower here on the offense, led by quarterback Lyndon Martinez and running back Danny Ramos. It's another one of those teams that, they're going to put up a lot of points, and it's one of those defenses that it's kind of a bend, don't break type of defense there. But they've been able to hold their own this season. Their only loss coming from Roma, which was only by 7 points there, so only lost by 1 score. So they're off to a very, very strong start there, especially in district play. They're undefeated in district play. And this week they have Corpus Christi Cal Allen, who is 6-2 on the season, 2-0 in district play. So that game is probably going to be for the district title, District 16-4A Division 1 title. So keep your eye on the Zapata Hawks. Not typically a team that you think about who, if you're thinking about playoffs or playoff contention. But if they can win district, it's a team to look out for in the playoffs.
I like it.
So there you go. Some teams to look out for in the RGV. It's 12:55, and I have 5 players to talk about.
Hustle. Because I got a meeting at 1:30, and my stomach is growling.
What'd you make for lunch today? As you just told me to hustle, and then I'm like, what'd you make for lunch today?
Yeah. I'm not answering that because I'm hungry. Go.
Okay, fine.
It's gonna be nothing if I answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna be eating air in the meeting if we don't get out of here.
Okay.
Love y'all. Thanks for watching.
All right, I'll go quick. First up on players to watch in the RGV, let's talk about a private school, Brownsville St. Joseph Academy. 2025 athlete Claudio Torres. Dude's a football playing dude. You know those dudes that we just talked about that they're like, yeah, that's a football playing dude? Mm-hmm. It's Claudio Torres. He's been a total stud this season, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side as well. He's run for 982 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground, 682 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Jeez.
Great, right? On the other side, he's totaled 49 tackles and 3 interceptions.
Just for fun.
So he doesn't come off the field.
No.
And he plays in almost every aspect of the game, except at quarterback, which, I mean, he could play at quarterback. I haven't seen him play at quarterback, but
Why
he
not?
could quite possibly be taking the snaps there every couple of plays there. He's listed as a wide receiver on Huddle and Max Prep, so I assume that if he's going to play college ball, it'll probably be at the receiver spot. From his tape, looks like they use him in a different types of packages on the offensive side. He's fast and elusive as a ball carrier, and then lethal with yards after catchability, obviously, when he's thrown to, and gives the offense just an explosive component with his ability to stretch the field there when he's lined up on the outside. 6'3", 160, smaller frame, but I think it's because he probably never comes off the field, so he just can't gain that type of muscle. And he's an athlete. He's a multi-sport athlete. I believe he plays soccer as well. So really fun guy to watch. A little bit smaller, like I said. But if he can get a little bit meat on those bones, he might be playing college ball at the next level if that is what he's looking to do. Let's stay at Brownsville St. Joseph Academy and talk about 2025 interior offensive lineman Diego De La Cruz. Big boy up front, 6'4", 315 pounds.
Yo, that boy be eating.
He's got the size.
Good Lord.
I wonder how much.
How much his fair, that's how much I would weigh if I lived in the RGV as well. So same.
Fantastic food. Yeah, fantastic food there. He's got the ability to handle blocks one-on-one and the strength to just bully you up front. The strength and size to be a bully up front there. His sheer size, to me, is a huge advantage for him and can create those holes in the offensive line for the running game. And he's committed to play for the UTEP Miners in El Paso. So he's staying in state. Moving on down, let's go to Edinburgh and talk about Vela 2025 quarterback Jeffrey, and you kind of already mentioned him a little bit. Jeffrey Lefevre, 6'4", 215 pounds. Ideal frame for a quarterback, in my opinion. He's a gunslinger with a strong arm. His midseason stats updated through week 6. I couldn't find anything past week 6, but he's completed 62% of his passes, thrown for 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. And again, these are only through week 6, so I'm sure he's put a little bit of meat to that since then, but really impressive throughout the regular season there. He looks really comfortable in the pocket. And I think
he's been doing it for years.
And a lot of that is due to that offensive line. This is a very strong offensive line for Vela that gives him a lot of time and a lot of space there in the pocket. And his throws are even super accurate in times when he is under pressure. He's got some good weapons around him too. Just a really strong offense all around for Edinburgh Vela. PSJA High 2025 quarterback Miles Lopez. He's awesome.
Yeah. No, he's a good football player.
He's really fun. He actually won our 6A quarterback of the week award last week.
Slinging it.
Yes. He threw 35 times and completed 30 of those passes last week. 426 yards and 4 touchdowns in one game. So that brings his total up to 2,200 yards and 18 touchdowns this season. He's really good. He's really, really
Pop
good.
off, son.
He's got a strong arm and can make plays with his feet, too, when trying to escape that pressure. His throws are pretty accurate as well and can get the ball to his targets even in those really tight windows, which really good quarterback stat there. Especially his favorite target, Ryan Vallejo, when they connected for 5 touchdowns in a single game this season. His favorite
I
target.
feel like we could do that.
You and I?
We're enough in sync.
We have one brain. Together we make one brain
we
cell.
make
So
one
I
brain
think that
cell.
if you put us on a team together,
5 touchdowns seems realistic.
5 touchdowns seems realistic. We'll see. And has offers from Central Michigan and East Central University. So a guy looking to play at the next level. He's really, really fun to watch. And to round it all out, you've already mentioned
My guy.
PSJA North 2026 running back Ethan Guerra. In 3 seasons playing varsity ball, he's totaled almost 4,000 yards on the ground and 40 touchdowns.
Dude be
in
running.
3 seasons. Okay, not even 3 seasons, 2.5 seasons.
Yeah.
2.5 seasons. We're only halfway through the 2024 season. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. And he's already told that he's already put that those stats up, and already has over 1,000 yards this season, averaging 11 yards a carry.
He's a little water bug, man.
He is.
He's brooming out there.
Yeah, he's explosive. All right, he's explosive.
I think my analysis is better, but whatever. She's over here using all these technical terms, so sometimes you just got to call it how it is.
He is 5'7", 170.
No, I'm telling you, he's a little water bug. Like,
Yeah.
I am taller than him.
Yeah,
Nicole is like the queen of analogies.
Yeah.
yeah.
I speak in code. I
And
realize
it's funny
that
because
sometimes.
when you look at water bugs, they're super speedy and agile, and that's exactly.
I'll do it again.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
do it again.
exactly. He's also so he's got a smaller frame, but dude's a freight train.
Yeah.
An absolute freight train, and he's so tough to bring down. Watching his tape was a lot of fun because again, smaller guy, but he plays like a college level running back, like a D1 college level running back. The thing that stuck out to me when watching his tape is his yards after contact ability. I think he really likes the challenge of running it up the middle and just making guys miss. He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
And a huge part of this offense for PSJA North. That's 2026 running back Ethan Guerra.
He's
Those
like,
are my players to watch.
guilty.
He's what?
And I'll do it again.
I'll do it again. Thank you. Someone got
literally.
the reference.
No, literally.
I'll do it again.
No, seriously.
If you don't
he
get the
is.
reference, shame on you.
Yeah. He just likes the challenge. He's like, why go to the outside when I can just run it up
In
the
the
middle
middle.
here and make you miss and make you miss and make you miss.
I love the RGV.
I do too. I do too.
This is great, guys.
I still have never been to the RGV. I want to go so badly.
That blows my mind and pains my heart.
Yeah, because I couldn't go when y'all went on your staff trip a
Yeah.
couple years ago.
It's okay. Well, that just gives me an excuse to need to go back down there. If any RGV schools want to sign up with Dave Campbell's Texan Live, let us know. We will come give you first class service and fly down to be able to meet with you in person.
Well, I do work a little bit on the college side, and they will have a college football program next season.
We have been personally invited by Travis Bush, and more importantly, this is the real nail in the coffin, but Mrs. Bush has asked us to come as a staff to their opening game, and yes.
And so we're not going to say no to that, right?
No, that would be rude.
That would be so rude.
We're not rude.
No. And I don't know how the schedule's going to work. I mean, I assume they play on Saturdays.
Yes.
But there's been a lot of Tuesday night action with UTEP
Not
and
in week
Sam
one,
Houston
though,
playing.
is the good thing.
True. Yeah. Yeah, that threw me off last night. 2 Texas teams playing. But nonetheless, RGV, we love you. We love you. Do you have anything else?
I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry.
Really quickly, wanted to add someone else is also watching from Arizona.
Oh, nice.
No kidding.
Dude, nationwide WTF. Put that on your bingo card.
Frick yeah.
Yeah, can Texas football tonight say that? No, they probably can.
No, I would hope so.
Or Texas football today, I meant.
Oh, I would also hope so.
Yeah, they probably can. I'm sure there's a lot of statewide people on there.
There's not a show. I was
Or I
trying to
guess
think of a show that
countrywide.
one of us is not on, and there's
Nationwide.
not that. So we can't crap on the other shows because we're all on the other
Tep-
shows.
oh,
no, VNA's on it.
can't. We're
We
a part of
can
every
still
show.
crap on
Yeah.
Tep and Step,
Yeah.
though, just not the VNA portion of that. This room in Tep and Step, not that room of Tep and Step.
Correct.
That podcast is
Listen to
Happy
women
week
talking
9,
football.
guys. Happy week 9 of the Texas high school football season. Like Ashley said earlier, we have a ton of great games on TexanLive.com this week. We only named a couple, but we've got a huge slate of games on TexanLive.com. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe now before we get to the playoffs, because you don't want to wait until then, because this week might be the best week in all of Texas high school football history. And most of those games are on TexanLive.com. That's going to do it for us.
Yeet.
Friday night, 7:30 p.m., week 9 of Texas football tonight. Make sure to tune in. It's Ashley Pickle, Ishmael Johnson, and Greg Tepper on the desk, and Miss Vianney Moreno and myself are behind the scenes making sure they look good and they sound good. Until next time, Women Talking Football, we'll see you next Wednesday at noon for a new region to break down.